Okay, so last week, Gabor talked about .NET updates. Uh, 10 years of .NET, I think that was it. Something like that.
Yeah.
And probably something like 10 years of OrchardCore. It should be around the same time. I don't exactly remember. When was the repository created? I believe, so I'm sure it was Nick Main who started the project. Is there a way to go to the last page? Well, there is the last page. We can also look at the contributors. Now, I don't have last page, but I could also check on Git. Contributors. A lot of data. Too much data. Where is fork? Done. I will refresh that. And that, and is it done? Not done. Is the comp? Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, 2015.
20 November.
November. Oh, so we still have some month before celebrating the 10 years of OrchardCore. At least the repository was created. And you see by it main the first month, and I must have provided a dump commit. That must have been my first commit on OrchardCore, which must have been a README change or something like that. That's what I do. Initial commit. Oh, I created the project actually. Did I? Okay, probably I need to create the repository for Nick to work on that. Interesting. Cool. Okay, so almost 10 years, a little older than the test. I was on the status page. So last week, Gabor about .NET, no topics, was a quick meeting because of time change. Today, 3/19/2024. Demos. I hear Isham.
Nope, I think Simon has a demo today.
Okay. How do I spell Simon?
Simon.
Simon, sorry.
Sigmund.
It will be whatever. Simon.
Simon. It's been a long time ago.
Okay.
Okay. A bit of Blazor.
No, a bit of Blazor. Who cares about Blazor? Nobody cares about Blazor. What is
Speak
Blazor?
for yourself, please.
Well, dude, that's exactly what I've been doing for the past 10 years. Right? That's what I do here. I express my opinions. Feel free to agree or disagree, and just don't listen to what I say. That's totally fine. Topics. Like when I say, what was the last thing I said yesterday on the PR? Yes, about the method names, like I prefer to see the code in place instead of creating a new method. Just my opinion. If you don't agree, that's your PR, do it. If I strongly disagree, then you will know. Topics? I saw Victoria was there.
Yes, it's just a really short notice about the orchard harvest, and I also wanted to talk about having a community manager for OrchardCore and ask about your opinion.
See, sometimes some people want to know about my opinion, but I assume when you say your opinion, you meant everybody in the meeting,
Yes,
which I prefer.
yes,
Better,
everybody.
It's much better. Okay, so status, Orchard. Okay, this one I don't care. Orchard one. Benedek has been very busy. What do we have? So if I filter maybe on that and that, let's see what's interesting. Since last week, we have TermsPart.Record usage made default delegate to avoid accessing a scope, which is already disposed. Like every week, we have a new change like this to just use the content manager assigned to a content item instead of trying to use a dangling reference that will get disposed at some point. Like this, see content item dot content manager instead of in this case doing the same thing, but better. Or is it about this one being not known? Or maybe this one? Maybe this is this one. This is doing the first request, and then this is doing the lambda. Okay, so the first request is done out of the lambda, and then it's passed in the lambda. And the content manager is correct to use. Yes, because before it would have used a different content manager than this one. Okay. Still on main, update ClickToBuild. So an important change here to update the versions. First, to fix the ClickToBuild with the newer versions of Visual Studio, but it's also removing the older versions support, like VS 15 and lower. So give feedback if it's breaking you, but it will not break you. You should have updated to a newer version of Visual Studio. And I think Benedek is working on also updating the required .NET Framework version. Do no update. Setting MS build log verbosity to minimal in the compile workflow. Okay. So that's the updates, but it's not displayed here, but Benedek has been working still on fixing dev and 110x margins. OrchardCore. So the 12. We have 13, 12 here. Mikhail Lipin, prevent session connection closing in WorkflowTypeController. Yeah, I think we saw that. Yes, interesting here. Session that create connection async will actually either create a connection or return the one that the session got when it first did a query. And right above that, it's doing some query. So it already has a connection assigned to the session. And this connection was returned and disposed at the end of this method. But there were some more usage during the workflow of this session. So the connection being disposed, it was breaking everything. So here is just about creating a connection and not disposing it, because when the session will be disposed, the connection will be disposed. So that's a good fix. Find Isham, add docs to ThemeSelectorResult, API docs. Antoine updating to 8.03. Update README about custom user settings, one click to the video. Okay. Or maybe the video moved. No, the link was. The only change I see here. Oh, yeah. Oh, I see. The ID was lowercase. Okay, that's just the link inside the page. Okay. StackExchange.Redis update. Marker file hint. Apparently, it's not safe to delete it. Okay. Resilience library. CultureDictionaryRecordKey is now a struct, a real one. Sorry, a struct, a record, a real one. It's very interesting to see what a record generates. A record is just generating a lot like equatable implementation, the equality, the hashing, a default to string. So it's generating a lot of things, which this class was doing. Functional test command docs, okay. Update jint option to support System.text.json, because since we moved to System.text.json, the binding with the JSON object is not the same. Now it's JSON nodes, so it has to be updated, the interoperability. So this is what this PR is doing. So these are some tests, but here there is this one that will intercept the type of JSON node and then return the correct C# value. So that's probably fixing workflow scripts and other kind of scripts that we use. KDocs, Markdig update, libphone identity, Markdig again. Why? Kind of sad that nobody created a 36.1 between this one and this one. Like, it's only 8 hours. I should have seen a 36.1, right? DocumentFormat.OpenXml, add OrchardCoreConstants. Okay, I have tenants, I have app settings again. And tenants, okay. I say it's good because the same constant is used in at least 2 locations. So approved. README. What? Mike doesn't like Chinese communities. Why? You don't like Chinese communities, Mike?
Oh, it's in there. It's just at the bottom.
It is in there.
With
Oh, sorry, I missed the. Okay, good.
see, he just doesn't. He just want people to hate me now.
Yeah, when you will get so much hate, people will hack you and everything. Don't try to get a visa to go to China anymore. Dojo Courses. More docs from Gabor. Wow, iframe, super modern. You didn't use Blazor for that? I thought you had to use Blazor to render an iframe. With a YouTube video player. What I noticed is that when the video is embedded in the site, you don't get ads. And as soon as you go on the YouTube website, you get all the ads. Okay. If you think it's better, and update to Fluid. I wonder when I publish the package and what time you published the update. What time did I publish? Nah, a few hours. Maybe you were sleeping. Like, I think I published it around 4 p.m. There is a new feature. It should not break, but there is a new feature, which is a new from tag that allows to load macros functions from different files. That's it. That's all what it is about. Good. Okay. So we got a demo and topics. Simon, your turn.
Okay. Yeah, I was 5.5, 6 years ago interested and a bit involved with Orchard regarding decoupled scenarios. And recently I saw there was some more activity around it to use Blazor components in a decoupled site. And there was a discussion. Antoine already made an example in a discussion, and there's a PR with a guide. So I thought, at least let me follow the guide. And my next step was, let me make this a multi-tenant application, because that would be very interesting for me. In my current situation, where I maintain a line of business application that we provide to several tenants. And then I remembered also Sebastian saying, yeah, no Blazor server in the beginning of Blazor, but I saw this is Blazor server, and multi-tenant also worked with the help of Niraj, that mentioned that you could use the request prefix to URL request URL prefix. So I took the example from the guide a little bit further. That's it, basically, to take into account the request prefix, and that works so far. Is it interesting enough to show a bit?
Yes.
Anything is interesting.
Okay.
Like, I'm showing a OneNote page. Is that more interesting than a OneNote page?
Okay. So, can you see? Is it readable?
Yep. Very good.
So, let me see which browser. Oh yeah, I think it's this one. Oh, it's not. Let me run this out. Okay. So, just to see, this is the default tenant. I created some tenants, but just let me first show you what it looked like when I followed the guide, and not completely because I was playing, of course, but this does requests, and the component here uses the content manager to get the content item by this alias, and then renders it to the screen. So this was all good. So with these tenants, I don't really have to log in. I can go to the homepage, and that works also very good now. So this is different content, obviously, than, well, let me show the homepage of the default tenant. So this is the default tenant, and this is the first tenant, and then I have, of course, the third the second tenant actually. Just made an example. And that also works. So the trick here was, I didn't know that, but apparently there's this shell scope available that gives you the request URL prefix. If it's empty, you just want to make sure you have a slash to begin. That is the minimum. And if it's not empty, then you want also to prefix it with a slash. I did it like this. And then you just render the base. The base element that you then use in your app, your layout index. And that's, I think, the most important thing. So I was really happy that that it works. It works pretty nice, and that's it. Actually, this is just a begin, because of course we want a lot more. We want authentication, and we want things for settings. We want maybe also some rendering. Well, a lot of things that we could use from here. But this was like the first step. Oh, very modest demo.
So is this you create a theme where so all your work is in a theme, or you have to change a lot of existing code that we have?
Okay, so I think it was Niraj, but correct me if I'm wrong, wrote in a PR a guide to make a decoupled application with Blazor. So from NuGet packages. So this just references Orchard CMS target, and it's a very basic application. But here you actually just add the Blazor components and interactive Blazor server, and that's basically the customization. And then you take, not really a module, but you take a direct reference to a Razor class library that is actually the Blazor application. So the server itself doesn't have pages or components. It runs Orchard, and it runs this app in its own Razor class library. And what we use here, for instance, I didn't invent this. This is made, I think, by Isham, or by Niraj, or by Antoine, or all three. I'm not sure who worked on this, but what we do, I made a content item service. I'm not sure if that's a good idea, but what you get an alias, because it's static, you pass these things in. So I'm not sure this is really good idea, but the idea here is that you use the handle manager to get the content item, and here you ask for the body aspect of it. The string is here the result, and that is the let's say your content item. And the markup you get here is that body the body aspect, and that you just render here. So the content comes from Orchard, and you render it in your component. That's the basic example. This is like getting started, let's say. And I followed it to see if it works, and I played with it a bit. And yeah, that base elementing is important if you want multi-tenancy to work. So it's basically, yeah, it's this app, and the host, let's say, the Orchard host, and this is the Blazor app. And Of course, you can modularize that, use libraries. For instance, I put this base element in a different library. Would be useful to reuse.
Where do you use the request URL prefix property here?
Where?
Yeah, where is that used?
So the Blazor app sits here and needs to render a base element, right?
Oh.
So I use it already in the app.
So where is that thing, the multi-tenant element?
That sits here in its own library.
That's this thing here?
That's this thing.
Okay, I couldn't see the file name. Okay, so that's this thing. So when you import this component, then you have a request URL prefix that is set. That's the only thing that it does, right?
I request it from the shell scope.
Sure, but that's the component only gets the request URL prefix. That's what it does.
Yeah, it renders this, and it exposes this property.
Oh, okay. It renders the base href page. Okay, side page. And what is this base thing? Oh, I see. This is an HTML tag.
Yeah.
Yes, HTML base tag.
Yeah,
Just one thing to note here is that we have in your site settings, you are able to provide a base URL. So here you might want to do a check to see if the settings have a URL set, then you want to use that. Otherwise, create your own.
Oh, makes sense.
Because the public address might be different than the one you are serving. If there is a proxy that converts thing, you need to expose the public one and not the private one.
Oh, makes sense.
And I thought, this base thing, I think we were doing it at the beginning of OrchardCore until we realized that there was something already implemented in ASP.NET, but this might not work in this case. And in ASP.NET, we are using the request. There is a base path, I think, and maybe that's the same thing that you could use. So maybe something to look into, like the current request base path that should have the same value.
Yeah. Okay.
If you're interested, add a couple more modules to this, and then maybe push it somewhere public where people can actually use it as a sample, or maybe publish in our sample project, in the OrchardCore samples project, maybe push a sample of how to get started with just like you did, but with modules, not just a single module.
Shouldn't the current sample for Blazor be updated to have this base tag such that it works when there is no multi-tenant and also when there is multi-tenant?
I already posted somewhere on the forum and in the PR also. So it is public, the library, and yeah. I think I came also here to see if there is interest to take this further. We could contribute. It's interesting enough.
I don't see why not. Some people will be interested, even if Sebastian isn't.
I don't care about Blazor, but it doesn't mean others don't have to care. They care.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Some people care, obviously. You care to actually do this and demo it, so there's a lot of people out there.
They care.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. Well, maybe update the current decoupled with Blazor document just to mention that also, to add that information if people care.
Okay,
Not yet.
I will.
Good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Who's next? Victoria.
Okay, thank you. About Orchard harvest, based on what we were talking about 2 weeks ago, I wrote to the organizers, and so I asked them to help me decide on the exact location, because it was a little bit hard to decide the questionnaire and what the organizers would prefer. But one thing was clear, that we will try to organize it in person for sure. And in the end, based on the comments, we decided that we will try again Las Vegas. And I'm really happy that Mike can help me as well. So tomorrow I will start a discussion again about the time and the date, and also contact the location what we were talking about last year. And I also contacted this venue last year, so I hope that they will remember me and it will go easily. So that's it. And the other thing what I wanted to talk about is the community manager for OrchardCore. I try to link. There is also a discussion about it on GitHub. Yes, here. The public discussion. So the thing is that OrchardCore doesn't have any specific marketing to the outside world. And so we were talking about it for a longer time with Zoltán. And I wanted to ask your opinion about what do you think, what kind of marketing would be good for OrchardCore? Do you think that it's needed a community manager? So I would really appreciate if you would share it now or in the comments.
I recall you said you is not me, so I won't say anything. There are 10 people in the meeting.
I ask everybody, including you as well.
Fall back. I should play some music until someone is answering.
Put some pressure.
Community lubrification. I don't know what it means. This is awesome. Pre-filtering. Okay.
Yeah, so
it's funny because it's like, hey, I want to be I'm suggesting I am the community manager for Orchard, and everyone is like, yes, go on, do that. Who wants to be community manager? There is one candidate. You get all the votes. 100%. It's more than Vladimir Putin.
yeah, it's more like do you agree that it's needed, or what do you think about the current marketing of OrchardCore.
I mean, we agree about any action that you will try to take. Then we might disagree how you did something, but if you want to do something, whatever point of the 20 you have here is good. So, I mean, it's good to have someone that wants to do something. And just say, stop saying or doing anything when we disagree with what you did or do. So I'm sure everyone here is happy that someone would try to push the community and engagement.
Yes, it's a really good how you said it, because I will try. I can't promise now anything, but I feel like that it's also really nice at least to try it out. If I have concrete questions, I will definitely ask the current community, how do you feel about things, because as I wrote in the comments that I think what is really needed, that that there isn't so many information for non-technical or people without technical knowledge, and in my opinion, much more visibility could be achieved if we can make a blog or content or anything for those who are not experts in IT. So I would like to try first this way, and then we can change it or make it better. If you have ideas, I would be really open for anybody's idea.
Well, that's interesting that you mentioned the people who don't have technical background, because our main entry is GitHub, so developers, right? And we are all here developers, and we talk to developers, and we don't want to talk to anyone that is not developer. But some people who want to have websites are not developers, and
yes,
so
yes,
they need a channel.
Yes, that's the main reason why I was thinking about it, and also that what is really important is that how quickly and how can someone find a solution for their problem.
Lombiq. Yeah, ideally is like, hey, you are a developer, you want to be by yourself, go on the GitHub repository. You want to try Orchard and have someone help you implement Orchard, call 911lombiq.com, okay? And something like that. Or whoever wants to be there, like listing all the people that can help, or try to do it, like use tryOrchard.net, use .NET to see if it does what you need, or if you need help, then contact us, we'll guide you and answer your questions. Yeah.
Yes.
Success stories and everything, like, oh, look at this website we made for Smithsonian, and we can help you too, right?
Yes.
Like, do you know Blazor? It's awesome. And they're like, what? And okay, do you know Smithsonian? Oh, yeah, okay. So it can do that.
Yes, something like this. This is what I try to talk about. That would be a really, in my opinion, really nice.
Do you want a logo, a stamp, a badge, like Victoria, the OrchardCore, the committee manager?
Yeah, if you can
the CCM.
I would really appreciate.
That's what Antoine does. Antoine does the badges. He will create a badge with the community manager on GitHub and assign it to you. Only one person.
Okay.
That's the badges. What are the badges?
Hey Victoria, this is Laram. I'll make my comments on the discussion, but Sebastian, can you please do me a favor? Can you flash again the list of items that she's supposed to do? Can you show it on the screen again, please?
It doesn't want to. So it's crazy.
Yes. So the thing is, I also wrote in the comment that I would first. So I would really want to focus on the non-developer tasks because I don't have any experience in the other ones. You can see one of my comments. I listed there, but I could take responsibility for first.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks, Sebastian. My only comment now, Victoria, is that if you look at it, there's like maybe 1, 2, 3, more than 10 activities here, right? So
yeah,
and there's a lot. I'm not so sure how much time you're allotting to be a community manager on top of your work in Lombiq. I don't know if you're full-time or part-time. I'm not so sure. But my only concern is that there's a lot here. If I can make a suggestion, maybe narrow down to 3. Just 3 things, because for example here, marketing of OC, that in itself is huge, right? Event organizer, training organizer. So if I can make a suggestion, list 3 things that you think you can really focus on, that you know, that you think that OC needs right now from a community management perspective, and maybe we'll start from there. But I'll read this more, and then I'll post my comments and discussion. It's just that when I saw this list, I was just concerned that it might be too many for you.
Yes, I totally agree, and I really appreciate if you would make a comment as well. I am working full-time currently at Lombiq, and so we were talking about it with Zoltan, that after it's clear that what would be needed the most for OC, we will discuss how much time I will spend on working on this. But it's definitely a lot, so I also wrote that I can take responsibility only a part of it.
I see 2 people say launch. The question is, how do you land? Good. Thanks, Lauren, for the comment.
Yes, thank you. And so everyone who has anything to add, I would really appreciate the comment in the discussion. That's it
following
from
on
me.
Lauren, maybe if people want to say, if there was one thing that you would want Victoria to help on, then just write it. Like, if there was one thing, like making themes, merging pull requests, but no, these things, if there was one thing. And then we'll limit to 3, so we can see some progress on at least 3 items.
Yes.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
So does it mean a community manager will have to come to all the community meetings?
Yeah, I know.
So Gabor is the community manager then? Or does it mean Gabor doesn't have to show up anymore? And you will also handle publishing on YouTube? Gabor is so happy right now.
we can both be community managers.
Awesome. Because the main issue with doing the YouTube videos is sending me 10 emails per week to remind me to send the video. That's the main work.
I already have some experience reminding you with
Gabor.
emails.
You see? That's good. So you can be manager. Awesome.
I'm the manager of the community manager.
You are the boss.
Okay. Okay.
Any other topics, questions? Oh, there was one thing. I opened this issue not to forget. So who created is it Zoltan who created the PR or Isham? I don't know.
It's Zoltan.
Zoltan created a PR to mention Cloudsmith. That's weird that pretty sure we had that. So somehow it got removed at some point. That's weird. That is required for Cloudsmith to host our packages, and these packages will be limited in time even more because we push too many packages too often, too big. So they are like, please send less things, and I don't disagree. So Zoltan is currently talking with Cloudsmith about what it means to send less things, like maybe send the packages once a day and not every commit every day. That could be a solution to do. Because
I think that's what he did, because he submitted also an issue saying to change it to once a day, and now I put a PR in there that changes it to run once a day.
And how do you do that?
The only thing with that preview is if there is a way to add a if condition to say run only on that day, only if there is some changes too.
Because I didn't know that we had a custom workflow to publish on Cloudsmith. I thought it was part of the main branch workflow. Okay, interesting. So that's great then.
Yeah, but I'm wondering if there is a way we can limit that. So we don't want it just to run every day just because we want to run it every day if there is a change. So I'm not sure.
Yeah, yes, you can, because there is a way we can store, we can check, like, look at all the commits for the last day. If there is none, then don't do anything. And to look at the commits is just a git command, like, because here you have the repository checked out. So here you can just do a PowerShell command or whatever, see, like this, a run command that will just do git and status whatever and parse the last commit date. And if it's the current date minus 24 hours, there must be a thing like this. And then just say, okay, skip, do nothing, quit. Skip publishing, done. So that would be the best thing. But right now, this is good because even if there is a commit during a day, that's okay. That will limit the number of publications. But then, yeah, so a little Google, and we'll have the answer to that. And then you can even remove I know that's the opposite, because we would not know if the run was done before. Or maybe you could say, let's run that all the time and use a GitHub API to see what's the date of the latest run. And if it's invoked and the latest run is more than 24 hours, then you say, okay, publish now. That's another option. But I like the fact that it's publishing at like midnight every day, if necessary. This way, if you do 10 changes in the day, you know that the day after you will get all the packages available at midnight. So that might be nice. And give you some time.
And we also have
something.
The manual too. So
Also,
on line 3.
Yes, and this gives you some leverage that instead of saying, oh, there hasn't been any push in the last 24 hours. So now you get a commit that will be pushed. But if you make a mistake, you will have to wait 24 more hours to get a a fixed package. And if instead you do like you just did now and check if there was like at midnight and check if there was something during the day, then it means at 8 a.m. you do a fix, and at 12 a.m. you do a 12 p.m. you do a fix of the fix. Then it's better for you to recover from a mistake because you have until the end of the day to get something working.
Yeah, and if needed, you can also run it manually, you know, so. That workflow dispatch, you can actually say, I want to trigger it now, and it will trigger it now.
Sure. But then you need to ignore the time limit of 24 hours that I was suggesting to add in as a step.
For manual?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure it can be detected for sure. Like if it's manual, then ignore the 24 hours limit, something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. So I shared a discussion. I just kind of want to see what people think of, you know, OrchardCore 2.0 at some point. We need to see like what things we can add to improve based on community feedback. So I just opened that. If anybody's interested, please go to this discussion and just provide whatever features you think Orchard is missing so we can start planning, if needed, OrchardCore 2.0. I'm not sure if we will, but at least we'll have a place to kind of put our thoughts in and go over them and see if we need to, you know, release a major release.
My first thought when I saw the discussions was I didn't feel 2.0 the same way as people understood that. Like here, the discussion is more about breaking changes instead of major feature or focus. See? And I don't dislike it. It's interesting to see like, oh, let's do all the namespaces, changes, use this component instead, and not thinking about major like, oh, let's redo a new dashboard or let's rethink how database is done, things like this. That was interesting suggestion also, to provide a way to do everything by code. Modules enabled, feature set, and configuration with all IntelliSense, so you know what you are doing. Like add, for instance, let's say there is a feature named multitenancy, so like add multitenancy, and you provide all the parameters for multitenancy inside Lambda. You see, so that's interesting. Cool. Thanks for driving the discussion.
And then there's one more PR. I want you to look at it and see if you can provide some insight, if you can. It's in the chat. Yeah. So I'm not sure honestly there what's wrong. Like to me that should work, but it's not. It's all in that it's liquid, and I'm not sure what needs to happen here. So we just need a way to be able to render the navbar shape, but the navbar shape has to call special drivers.
Yeah, that you just create. I would say you just create a navbar string that you pipe to a shape new, and then you pipe it to shape render. So,
yeah, but you can't do shape new because in this case we need to specifically call the drivers for it. If you look at the code, you'll see.
So here it's not about rendering a shape. It's about invoking drivers, which is drivers are completely different. There is no way in Liquid to do drivers, but by doing display async of a content item that will drive the drivers. You can only invoke drivers by rendering a content item, even a fake one.
Yeah, but I mean, like we do this with the user, you know, we create a type or a value, it's called user, and then we can say filter that user by like a user ID or something like that, like extract that. But we start by, so in this case, navbar is a shape, right? So, or that's the expected. And then render shape will render that shape. So, but when you say navbar, if you look at the code, you kind of see what I mean. But, or if you look at just further down, you'll see, so you'll see right there where we're creating a navbar, which is a string and a set value, and then we're providing a way to access it. So you access it by creating a display manager and then calling
Okay, so
that to create. Yeah.
So you created a display manager of the navbar type.
Yeah.
And you want to say render a navbar, but then you should not pass a shape in this case. You should pass the navbar item.
Well, it's a shape. We create a shape. We don't,
This here is, like iDisplay manager of the navbar class here, what I see here.
Yeah, and then look further down. We use it to build the shape.
Okay. Whatever you pass in iDisplay manager as a type is and should not be a shape.
Correct, and it's not. It's just a model.
Okay, that's what I said. Okay, so do you agree? It's not a shape. Then.
Oh no, what I'm saying, we build a shape out of it. So
yeah, I mean, display manager is supposed to create shapes for sure.
Correct.
By using drivers. That's why we use iDisplay manager. Okay.
Yep.
Then you say here shape equals display manager being display. Where is the entity you want to display here?
Well, that's an extension. Under the hood, it will create a new object of that navbar, and it will create it.
Okay, good.
So it's a new instance.
Great. Okay, great. And then you say you give fluid value that you create a fluid value name shape. I don't know why you do that. You don't need to do that. Oh, because you said register. Okay. Oh. Okay, now I get it. Register navbar accessor. Oh, I see. So now you do. But this will intercept any property. You should check the name. Set value, name of navbar. Be careful here because navbar might be uppercase. And does it matter in liquid? It might matter in liquid. And then you say whenever you access something named navbar, like this, okay, where is navbar? You say return a shape. So where is navbar in your code? Navbar accessor, and you say return, what is that thing? Create shape, by create shape. What is navbar new?
So that's a filter, right? This is the second approach that I tried.
Okay.
So if I do that, it would work with filters, right? But this is not really what I'm looking for. I'm looking for creating an object, which is called navbar, similar to what we do for user. I actually put a code or shared a link that will show you how we're doing it with user. Just kind of similar. You create the user object, and then you have filters for that user object. In this case, for the navbar, we don't really need filters much, but so yeah, you see how we set a value of user, and then we have a accessor, and kind of similar. It works for user, but I don't know why it can't work for the navbar for some reason.
So yeah, so this code I understand totally. This one is just if something is called, if you call a user property in your liquid template, we return you this object, okay? The user identity as a new, well, yeah. No, we return you the user object. And if you do, if you do not return name switch, what is name? Oh, if you access the property, wait. Yeah. So yeah, so what you did is wrong, is different. So here you just say, if you access the property of something called Navbar, so what you did is what you said is, if in a liquid template, you write navbar dot foo, okay, the dot foo is important here. You say, because the set value, new object value, new navbar accessor, this is invoking that lambda when you call dot something. And name is the foo here, but you never use it. So here you say, whatever, I will return you the shape. So that thing will be the shape, whatever you pass here. In the code you sent before, it says register. So whenever user is invoked, use liquid user accessor. And you say whenever you access liquid accessor, a property of it, do that. And whenever you access the property named identity, return the user identity. Okay, but here in your code, you never use the name of the thing.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So in this case, how can we register just a generic one?
You can set a value to a lambda. And in this case, the lambda will be invoked when this value is invoked. And the lambda can be that thing. In this case, when you say the navbar, you will get the result of that. And you don't need this thing here. You just need that thing with a lambda, the set value with a lambda. That's what I believe. So that should be much simpler. And let's see.
And see if there's a lambda. So instead of returning a new object accessor, in that case, just return a lambda, and that lambda should.
It's not documented. Ah, code. I just want to see code. I do sign in. Ah, sorry. To ask. I don't have my phone here. Ah, crap. So, let me see. Yeah, I'll check offline with you, but maybe that's an accessor still. But usually it's for dot something. Or maybe there is a case when there is no name and you need to handle this case.
Maybe there's on the accessor, there's a.
Maybe, but it's weird because see, culture in this case, it is really culture dot something. We do If it's there, we return the direction. Otherwise, we return this culture. Environment, we look at the properties. Is there a many staging exposition name? But there is nothing like no name. Or if you don't provide a name, or maybe that's it. If you don't provide a name, you return. Maybe that's the no name. I'd have to check the source code. But you see, the goal of an accessor is really to access the property of the thing called here.
Yeah, I'm wondering if we can just, if the callback, if there's a second callback on the accessor without a name, maybe that's what it is.
Okay.
I'm just trying to pull up the project so I can see if I can access the code and see what's in there.
Maybe, but then how do you, maybe you provide two accessors, what's with the callback, what's without the callback? Maybe.
Well, I have two anyway. I have one that has for the property because we have properties property. And there's a accessor for it. So.
Same issue. Yeah, I believe this is async. Let's see. Accessor. I look into the source code to see. Pretty sure you can provide a lambda. Or we should add it that you can lazily resolve, but maybe that's the async accessor and then there is no name. When there is no name, you return that. So maybe your example is just about changing, but if there is no name, then you are still handling that. Yeah, I can check with you on that. Okay.
Sounds good. Yeah, I don't see a set value with callback.
Yeah, but then if you have something like that, set value navbar, then your code should be, if that works, should be something like that. Navbar explicitly, that will return September. That's what.
Yeah, and that's what I want.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that should work. We'll see. Did you register? Oh, you don't need because it's generic. Okay, it will invoke all the drivers for navbar, and then yeah.
Yeah, and then you see the second registration down there. That's when I register and I use that name, you know, by accessing the property.
That won't work because never, unless you have a proper. Yes, I see what you mean. So if you get something of a type navbar, then you want to say then, yeah, but okay, then you want to say navbar dot something, and then you access the properties. Okay, but today from the code I see here, you don't have any navbar as a freed object. You have the shapes. That's it. But the shapes here are not of type navbar. This is a driver that will define. Oh yeah, maybe they will because that's the base type. Okay. And then you access the zones from this base type. Okay. Like for user. Okay. Okay, let's see later. Time to go.
All right.
Thanks everyone.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye-bye.